It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so this is going to be one of those videos where I kind of talk about multiple topics in the same video, so make sure you guys pay attention to the timestamps so you can, fast forward or rewind it back to whatever segments you want to hear me talk about. But let's not waste no time, because there's a lot of great things going on in boxing. We got some great news coming out of the BLK Prime camp, Now, BLK Prime, we know that they kind of made their splash in boxing when they made the Terrence Crawford-David Avanesyan fight, and they had a big event there in Nebraska. BLK Prime is trying to establish himself as a long-term player in the sport. And listen, over the years, we've seen many promotional entities come and go from boxing. I mean, just even in the last couple of years, think about like Triller still does shows every here and there, but they've scaled back a lot. Ring City USA, they're no longer a thing. So it's hard to make it in the boxing business and be successful and profitable, mainly profitable, for a long period of time at that top level. But I think this should serve as welcome news for hardcore boxing fans and boxing fans the world over, because BLK Prime has announced their Tuesday night fight series. And, I always hear a lot of the old heads, a lot of old school boxing fans say, boxing needs to do what they did back in the day and bring back Tuesday night fights. Because, in America in the 90s, particularly in the 90s and the early 2000s, USA Network, which is like a big channel here in America that most cable providers have, they always used to have Tuesday night fights. So you could always see, the prospects on Tuesday night fights. Your guys like Chris Bird and Shannon Briggs fought on Tuesday night fights. Those are a couple names that come to mind as guys who fought on USA Tuesday night fights back in the day at some point. So I feel like there is a place for this in boxing, and I just hope that this is something that boxing fans get behind, because this is very much needed for fighter development, for prospects, and for just the long-term health of the sport. So I'm definitely going to be supporting this. For those of you who want to know how you can access this now, BLK Prime, you can watch their Tuesday night fight series as part of their subscription service, which is $3.99 a month. So it's affordable, it's affordable, and you'll get your Tuesday night fight cards. With that being said, their first Tuesday night fight card is going to be in May, and it's going to be with a fighter that actually fought on the Terrence Crawford-David Avanesyan undercard, and he's a fighter that is affectionately known by the name of Kid Kansas, and that's Alan Garcia, a good young fighter. He sparred with guys like Ryan Garcia, Brian Castano. He's from Kansas, so there's not a lot of boxers coming out of Kansas. And he's looking to make a name for himself. He's 8-0 with 7 knockouts. From the little bit I've watched on him before, sharp fighter, looking to really make his name in the pros. I mean, he did beat my guy Danilo Diaz in the amateurs from looking at his box rec. So looks to be a good prospect, and they're gonna kick things off with him. So I wish BLK Prime the best with this comeback, because right now in boxing, I feel like even now, the prospect fight series circuit in boxing is getting competitive because you got Pro Box, which I'm a big Pro Box advocate. To me, like, my favorite promotional company ain't Top Rank, it ain't PBC, it ain't Matchroom, it ain't Golden Boy. My favorite promotional company, if I had to pick one, is Pro Box, because I think they're really the gold standard for what a boxing promotional company should be, and that's just me. But looking forward to seeing how BLK Prime does. I hope they can move in the direction of being more like a Pro Box type of entity where we get these great fights. So yeah, definitely gonna be checking that out, and definitely making videos about their Tuesday night fight series in the future. But that's one piece of news. Now switching gears to the next piece of news. Felix Alvarado, yes, that Felix Alvarado. Felix Alvarado and Christopher Rosales were both ordered to fight in a title eliminator with the IBF for the flyweight title. Now, Alvarado, I want to make sure I get my Alvarados correct. I think the Alvarado I'm speaking of is the one that fought Sonny Edwards. I'm pretty sure it's not Renee, because Renee is the one that lost to Lamont Roach. So Felix Alvarado is the one that fought Sonny Edwards, correct? Let me just make sure I have my Alvarado. Yeah, he fought Sonny Edwards for the title at 112, right? But now he's being ordered to fight in an eliminator for the IBF title against Christopher Rosales. Now, Christopher Rosales, good, decent fighter. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on who he fought, so I'm gonna go refresh my own memory. But it's Nicaragua versus Nicaragua, and listen, you know, this right here, I've never seen anything like this before. As far as like, I've never seen anything like this as far as a low purse bid. This is probably the lowest. If anybody can find me a lower purse bid than this, then wow. Because the reported purse bid that was submitted for Alvarado versus Christopher Rosales is $2,500. So that means that 60% of that purse will go to the former world title champion, Rosales. You know, he's going to have $1,500. And Alvarado is going to get $1,000. So, man, you want to talk about slap in the face money. You want to talk about fighting for peanuts. If this ain't it, I don't know what it is. And, like, you know, like, a lot of times they say that, like, Latin American fighters are privileged and all this stuff, but not the Nicaraguans. The Nicaraguans aren't privileged because, I mean, who the hell, you tell me, who the hell fights for pennies on the dollar like that in a world title fight? You know, crazy. But what makes it even crazier for me is that the promoters that won the purse bid is actually a local promotional company here in South Florida that I've actually covered a couple of their shows, and that's none other than the fine folks at M&R Boxing Promotions, you know, Laura Ching and all them, you know. M&R Boxing Promotions is like a club show promotional company. They don't really, like, I don't think they have that kind of money to really be out here winning purse bids, but I mean, for a purse bid that's this low, they secure the rights to it. So we'll see what happens. I think they're saying it's going to be June 10th here in Miami. So listen, it's a good fight. Rosales can fight. Rosales and Alvarado are both, you know, boxed at a pretty damn high level. Both of them have been champions. You know, Rosales has been in there with guys like Charlie Edwards and Patty Barnes and Julio Cesar Martinez. So he's been in there. He's been at the top. And the same thing with Alvarado. He just fought Sonny Edwards. So to go from fighting Sonny Edwards to now, you know, you're getting paid $1,000. I mean, boxing's a tough game, cold game. So yeah, I'll definitely be here to cover that and try to give that some exposure, because this is bullshit, man. We need to get these guys some money, because that ain't cool. That ain't cool. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely be getting in contact with M&R Boxing Promotions about covering that fight and really giving it the exposure it needs. You know, with that being said, switching gears, Josh Taylor was speaking of Boxing ID about his upcoming fight with Teofimo Lopez, and he was talking about, you know, just his change of trainers and where he's at with his style, because he says he feels like with Ben Davison, he was kind of caught up in trying to be more of a technical, polished boxer, and it got to the point where, you know, he kind of lost that spitefulness that got him to the top. So with that being said, here's what he stated verbatim, and I quote, "Yeah, I'm just getting back to my old self. You know, I just felt like before, I sort of felt my style was trying to get changed a little bit, and I was kind of caught between two styles and stuff. I just felt like I was getting taken away from what my best attributes are a little bit too much. I just felt like at the end I needed to change something, so I made a change." And then he pretty much said, yeah, there's nothing to do with Ben Davison. He improved a lot under Ben, and he just didn't want to get steered away from his style. And I agree with that, right? Because when I think of Josh Taylor, the one word I would use to describe Josh Taylor is spiteful. You know, what makes Josh Taylor and what allowed him to grind it out and beat Regis Prograis, what allowed him to come into Las Vegas into hostile territory and become undisputed against Jose Ramirez and beat up the likes of Ivan Barancek, O'Hara Davies, Victor the Iceman Postal, was his spitefulness and his ability to just impose his will on the fight. And I feel like, you know, with Teofimo Lopez, he's doing it at the right time, because Teofimo Lopez is a fighter that, when you look at him, he's a fighter that, generally speaking, he's someone that right now you wouldn't really trust his mental psyche going into the Taylor fight. So for Taylor, you want to get back to being this spiteful guy. You want to really make Lopez question themselves. So I look forward to seeing Josh Taylor back, because I like Teo. He's one of South Florida's very own, but I'm also the president of the Josh Taylor fan club. So I'm a little conflicted on who I want to win. You know, but if I had to pick who I think's gonna win, you know, I'm probably gonna go towards Josh Taylor. I'm picking Josh Taylor against the field. You know, I'm breaking out some of my old catchphrases. I'm taking Josh Taylor against the field, but you know, I think it'll be a great opportunity for Teo and Josh Taylor. Even though I am disappointed at both of them, because you know, Taylor should have been fighting Catterall right now, and Teo should have fought Prograis. but they both decided to swerve those fights and fight each other. So it's a good fight, but they avoided those fights. So life goes on, can't cry over spilt milk. But it's a chance for both of them, I think, to really re-announce themselves to the world. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Josh Taylor said he's just getting back to the spitefulness that made him a champion. And then switching gears again to the next piece of news, you got Yokasta Valle. Now, Yokasta Valle, she's a fighter that we know is linked to fight Seniesa Estrada. We know that, as my boy Howard would say, it is the quote-unquote sexiest fight in boxing. You know, we're all men here. We all have eyes. Some of us got 2. Some of us got 4 with a prescription. So they're both beautiful-looking women. That would make for a great fight and a great weigh-in. I'm sure the weigh-in will be great. But from a boxing standpoint, it's a great fight because Seniesa Estrada continues to show herself to be a cut above the rest of her contemporaries in her weight class. Look what she did to Tina Rupture. Tina Rupture was a girl that beat Yokasta Valle many years ago. And Seniesa beat her easily. It wasn't even really that much of a competitive fight. But Yokasta Valle has improved, and she just recently picked up some more titles by her recent victory. So, you know, a couple months ago over Evelyn Bermudez. So with that being said, Yokasta Valle has made it very clear she wants the Seniesa Estrada fight. She's angling towards the Seniesa Estrada fight. She stated the following, and I quote, "Call me anytime. I have these 2 titles, and I'm coming for all the belts. Let's get the unification and those other 2 belts. The titles stayed here tonight, and I'm bringing the other 2 belts back to Costa Rica." So Yokasta Valle showing no mercy, showing no surrender to Seniesa Estrada, and that's the fight we need next. I don't think there needs to be any. There doesn't need to really be any sort of like maneuvering or delaying the fight. I think right now is the right time. Yokasta Valle has built up a good name for herself, a good little presence on social media. Same with Seniesa. Seniesa fought on Top Rank on ESPN twice. And plus, Golden Boy did a good job building her. They both had a good stage now. They both got the titles. I say, why not? You know, why not? You know, the latest this fight happened is the last quarter of this year. Maybe you can match them in separate fights and easier fights on the same card to build more interest. But the expiration date for me, the optimal time for this fight to happen will be by the end of this year. So hopefully they get it done sooner rather than later. And then last but not least, and I'm going to keep it within the women's boxing, personal friend of the channel, you know, the real $1 million baby, Maureen Shea. Now, Maureen Shea, she's a true veteran of the sport. She's been, you know, at a really high level in women's boxing for a long time. She's in the latter stages of her career, but she's been highly ranked by the IBF in the women's junior featherweight division for a long time, and she's been the mandatory challenger to the IBF champion, Ellie Scotney. Now, Ellie Scotney is a hell of a fighter. She's trained under the guidance and watchful eye of Shea McGuigan. And you know, with Scotney being the #1 contender, being the champion, I should say, right? Or no, the #1 contender, because I believe it's vacant. Because yeah, so what happened is, let me correct myself. The champion, which is Trinica Johnson, she'll be defending her belt against Ellie Scotney. So basically, Maureen Shea is upset because she's the #2 contender. Ellie Scotney is the #1 contender. There was a situation where she negotiated in good faith with Matchroom Boxing to try and make the fight. And then Matchroom kind of, you know, went through the back door and kind of swerved her and kind of gave her the cold shoulder with the fight. So that's obviously not the best thing to do. But here's what she said about that whole situation. She stated the following, and I quote, "This is bad for every female boxer out there. The IBF needs to step in. Matchroom did not negotiate in good faith or intend to make this fight. Matchroom economics should not dictate the opportunities to the sanctioning bodies." So that's just what it's going to be. And she feels like it's bigger than her. And listen, Maureen Shea, I know, because I talked to her and I've had a conversation here and there with her over the last couple of years about her place in the sport and where she feels she's going. You know, she doesn't necessarily need boxing. She's good outside of boxing, but she wants to become world champion. She wants to win a world title. She wants to still prove that she's at the top level. And Ellie Scotney and her would be a great fight. You know, Maureen Shea is an experienced boxer. I mean, she's been in the game for a long time. I mean, for Christ's sakes, she was Hilary Swank's sparring partner for the movie $1 Million Baby. So she's the real $1 Million Baby. So they best stop playing with Mo. They best stop playing this bullshit with Maureen Shea. It ain't cool. It's not a good look, you know. And Trinica Johnson, will shout out to her, but like, she can wait. You know, they need to sort this out. They need to sort this out with Ellie Scotney and Maureen Shea, because she's been in that top, like, she's been in the, high in the rankings for a long time. And I think Maureen Shea, she's done enough in her career. If you can take a quick look at her CV and her resume in boxing, she's got 33 pro fights. She's 32-1, 30 wins, 2 losses, one draw. she's been doing this for a long time, and she deserves respect and the chance to fight an eliminator to try to position herself for the world title. So yeah, I proudly stand with Maureen Shea, and hopefully in the meantime she can stay busy and stay sharp for when the opportunity does come. But yeah, that's the news in boxing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.